Hey everybody, Spencer Sutton with Evernest, and I am here with Edie Pedrosa, who is our Orlando team leader. And Edie, thanks for being here with me and sitting in the chairs and answering a few questions.
Super excited to be here today.
All right, good. Well, I asked Edie to be here because, we have been getting a lot of owners that reach out to us, and a lot of owners are considering, should I sell my house or should I rent my house? And they kind of have heard like rental demand is really high. They're thinking maybe I want to keep this house, potentially moving out of town for a job or whatever the case is. And so I usually talk to them about at least a few things they need to consider before they decide to rent their home. So what I want to do is ask you, what do you think are the top 3 things that Orlando homeowners should consider before they rent their home out?
Right, so the first thing I would say most definitely is getting your property rent ready. Is this a property where if you are the tenant, you're ready to move into, like that's what you want to look for in a property. You don't want to have to go in there, start doing all this work. Like how do we set that up for our tenants?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I know that there's things in my house, like where I'm living right now, it's not rent ready. Like there are things that my wife has probably been asking me to fix for years and I haven't fixed them, but those things would have to be fixed, right? And so one of the things that we do is we do a full walkthrough before we put a house on the market, and we're checking the electrical system, the plumbing system. We're just making sure that when the resident moves in, that they're not immediately calling with maintenance issues and requests. So that's good. That's the first one. Okay, so what is the second thing?
The second one, and I'd say this is a huge focus, is getting the right person in your property. So screening your tenants and making sure that this is the right person in the right place for your property.
Yeah. I would say this is probably the biggest and most important job that they have, is putting that person in the house, the best person. So if you have a house in Orlando and you have 10 applications for your property, how do you know which one is best? And so you need to look at things like past rental history, income to how much you're asking in rent, like what is the income to rent ratio. You need to think about their current job, like verify their employment.
Credit history.
Definitely even want to do things probably like criminal background checks, making sure there's no violent misdemeanors or felonies. This is a big deal because you want somebody who's going to pay on time all the time.
Yep.
What happens when somebody puts a bad tenant in a home?
Our owners don't make money.
That's right.
We have to go through this process. We have to evict, and eviction costs a lot of money. So we want to make sure we put the right person in there to avoid these and make this as profitable as possible for our owners.
That's right. So we do get a lot of owners that come to us. Maybe they put the resident in, a bad resident in, and they say, I need help. Can you help me like get them out or collect the money? Sometimes they come to us from other property managers. So we actually have our own in-house underwriting department, and we think it's that serious. We used to third party it out many years ago. We decided, no, we're going to build our own in-house team. So it's a very, very, very important thing. So that's 2. Okay, what's the third thing?
Number 3 is maintenance and repairs. Like this is huge. This is what's going to keep you getting that revenue from that property. Like keep it up to date and tip-top shape, and you're going to consistently have your tenant happy. They might never move out, and they might be willing to, if you have to increase your rent, they are more than happy to do it because you've been taking care of that property and they're very comfortable where they're at.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point, because I know that landlords love to save money, but if you keep pushing things off, you're right. The resident gets irritated. They start thinking this person's never going to fix the sink or the leak or the whatever the case is, and they don't stay there a long time because they get frustrated. Also, secondly, you can cause deferred maintenance. Like deferred maintenance can add up to big dollars, where you push something off long, and then all of a sudden you've got this huge repair that could have been taken care of with some type of preventative
which we do offer a lot of those services where you set yourself up. Are we double checking these items? Are we cleaning your gutters? If you don't do that every so often, it can cause a problem. Are you checking any major items that need to be checked, that if you don't, all of a sudden it's a huge bill, a huge replacement.
Yeah.
These are things that, you know, we can take care of, and it takes a huge load off of an owner versus you coming up with like, hey, you need to replace this. It's a ton of money that you're going to have to cough up right now.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about HVAC, like
Yes.
heating and air systems are a big deal, and we offer preventative maintenance, but I know that the worst thing, like the thing that you don't want is kind of to not check it, and then on July 4th weekend.
Especially in Orlando.
Yeah, right.
July.
Burning up.
Humid.
Yeah. So what happens is that resident calls, they're super upset. They're like, come fix it now. You're scrambling, or the owner's scrambling to find somebody to work on July 4th or whatever the case is. And yeah, comes a headache.
Yeah, but if we check it, you know, 2 times a year, then we can have a tech say like, hey, you know what, this unit's pretty old. You may have to consider like changing it very soon. You're gonna have to replace it. And that gives you a guideline of like, okay, I'm gonna have to set this up because it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and we always encourage our owners, like, start setting aside money for these bigger ticket items like roofs, like air systems, those types of things. So
absolutely.
All right, Edie. Well, thanks so much for being here. And listen, if you are in the Orlando market and you want to work with or speak with Edie or someone on her team, then reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. You can email sales@evernest.co, and someone will be right back in touch with you.